It's way too late.
Just bringing it in. Just bringing it in, Ryan. Ryan.
Hi, buddy.
The excluded middle. Hello, Ryan. Coming at you from the bunker.
Is it still kind of weird saying that?
Yeah, it is, man. I miss the back shack, man.
I
I miss the back shack. As I was coming down here, I was kind of like, man, it is nice down here. I don't know if I just miss saying the back shack or, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but I do miss the back shack, man. I do miss the back shack.
Yeah, I do too.
I guess we could always build another back shack pretty easily.
Oh, gosh.
Move our stuff out there.
Probably ought to finish this first.
Put a little AC out there. Hey, man, speaking of that, we need subscribers, man.
We do, don't we? Occasionally, it's nice to get more.
If you catch the video, give us a sub, give us a subscribe. If not, give us a like, comment below.
Oh, maybe even share it.
Yeah, even share it.
Yeah, share it.
Yeah, share it.
Send it out in text.
Sharing is caring.
It is for us.
Sharing is caring.
I don't know. I'm so hung up on the. I do get on there to look sometimes. Not near as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But as long as my mom watches, that's all. That's the whole. Honestly, like I said, and I know she does because she be commenting to me on Messenger and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I might get on there, I don't know, a couple times. I hadn't checked it for a couple days, just got on there. So we're at 93 subs, in case anybody's wondering.
famous to tens of people, like you call it.
So we need some subs. I'd like to at least break 100. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe to the channel. Get out of here, man. What are you
Get out
doing?
here.
Like, what are you doing? Like, I know that many people. At least you get to do is subscribe to my channel. I'll subscribe to yours.
So I can go on and see some of the subs if their channel's not private.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so sometimes I'm like, dang, they subbed, awesome.
Yeah.
Now I can't see who watches the videos.
Right.
I think the hardest part is like long form video. Even I don't know. It's not that I have the most shortest attention span, and I have more time than anybody. Don't get me wrong, because I don't do a lot. But at the same time, it's like some of these podcasts that are 2 hours long. I only watch 20 minutes, maybe 25, and then I'll save it in my queue or whatever it's called, and then I might go back and pick up where I left off.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. There's a learning curve that definitely. To me, what I see is the people that do somewhat well. I'm not talking about famous fame. I'm talking about average Joe Blows in the bunker or
Joe
the back shack.
over there, man, working it.
And they have maybe
He better not be in our back shack.
800 to 1,000 subs. Max, get out of here.
Oh, he's just chilling. He's on point.
Yeah, but that's all the cables and stuff. He just likes to lay on
I'll
it.
try to watch it.
Hopefully, he just unplugs a bunch of stuff. He made an appearance when me and Jace were here because he was laying back here the whole time and then he got restless.
Just come post up right.
Yeah, he did. He'll put his paws up here.
Yeah.
But
Anyways, Ryan. Anyways.
I don't know.
Old Joe Schmo recording in our back shack. That's where we were.
I doubt they're doing that. They probably made it better or something. But, as far as getting videos out, so it's the more you upload, the better off you are because it's hitting the algorithm more. So if you put short content, long content in between, once a week with short content in between, then YouTube puts it out more. And so it's coming.
Yeah, work in progress, man. Work in progress.
It's really more just for me to have fun.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. I have fun with it, man. It's a good time.
Yeah, I like going to people and they're like, so what do you do? It's like, well, I have a podcast. That's what I lead with now.
You should be like, I am we got to think of something for that. Like, owner, operator of a media firm.
See, I don't know if
I don't know.
that far.
We could even get ourselves little tags.
We could, yeah. But you start saying some stuff like that. Then there's liabilities that come with it. We're just idiots.
Hey, man,
we're just idiots in a basement.
I'll take out some liabilities. I don't care.
I don't want any strikes.
Yeah.
So one of the channels I do follow, not that this is a big deal, and I've told you before, is one of my favorites. He just sits in front of his computer. I mean, terrible production quality. by far one of my favorites, and YouTube just keeps taking his channels down.
Doesn't he? Is this the guy that has
The picture of the bookcase?
picture of the
Yes.
books on the TV?
Well, no, he has like a picture, like a framed picture of books behind him.
Okay, yeah,
And,
even better.
and so we have the crows in our rows, and then the Michelangelo print over there. Well, I think that's called like literally the finger of God. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't know.
Reach out and touch it if you can.
Yeah, cry out.
Yeah. Continue to seek. Continue to
Uh-oh.
seek.
Something happened here.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, man, how's your day, Ryan?
How's my
it
day?
going? Yeah, man, what's happening today, man? It is a Wednesday. Hump day.
It's been a week, I think, since we've been on here. So today, Trish got on a plane and flew to Cali. And the twins went with her. Yes, and sometimes I like the alone time without distraction and that. But by 6 o'clock tonight, I was like, oh, it's too quiet.
Yeah, man.
I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I need some interaction. I need
Yeah.
some connection. To crave connection. You know, I was having this discussion with a good buddy of mine the other day, and you know, why do we, as we grow, we just separate? You know what I mean? Like you have your kids, and then they get their own house, and they move, and then they get their own house. So you have all these people. You know, you live with your wife, and they live with themselves, or their girlfriend, or their wife. You know what I mean? And then they just spread out. And then why don't we, bring that together, and then just build something even bigger and greater off of one another? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you captured, my income, their income, their income, their income of your kids or your immediate family there, and then just build on that. You know what I mean? You got, we could be living in like huge houses, man, and several bedrooms.
So you see that,
and and just
keep adding on.
right, and just feeding off one another, and bringing each other upwards.
I think that's the way we were originally intended to live.
That's what I think so too. And then as we separate, you know what I mean? That's what we were kind of getting at too, because as we separate, you know what I mean? Then we lack.
There he goes.
Max is at it, but we lack that connection, man. You can get up and change it, man. But we lack that connection. So you think, as a whole, we would try to bring that together, and
No, come on.
bring something of greatness, and just those ripples would even get even bigger. I don't know, just something I've been thinking about.
Hold on, buddy, I'm coming.
I know, man. You vacated, man. It's just you and I, the audience, man, out here. But that's just kind of what I was thinking on, man. It would be cool, and I know I've had discussions with my wife, in the past, something like that, of having like, have a house, and then we purchase like, some land, and then everyone kind of has their own little spot, but as a whole we are one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We come together. And I don't know why we don't try to work more into that type of situations or that type of living. And then instead of just going with whatever norm or how that norm came about, I don't know. But try to bring it in, you know what I mean? And I don't know. Sorry, Ryan.
Culture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I keep on talking here, but and I don't. And as I'm sitting here thinking through the process, is it because as the people that we are almost, kind of in our selfish nature? Or are we kind of, selfish, I should say, or untrusting, or, you know what I mean? Because obviously, in that type of context, you would probably have a little bit more, altercations or disputes.
Not necessarily. I mean,
I don't know, man. Yeah.
If you started now, it would be a while, probably, before. See, like, think overseas and like more impoverished areas where the family units are all together. The in-laws, all of them, they just kind of like band together. Then all of a sudden they're like a tribe, right?
Yes.
Now then other tribes would come and try to take over your tribe. I get what you're saying. So in the scheme of things, yeah, that's...
Or within the tribe, there'd be conflict within, maybe. I don't know.
Not as often.
Or there'd be that leader struggle, like...
Well, there's that, obviously. That could happen some. I think that's more like, from our perspective, Hollywood-style stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
People don't survive for hundreds and hundreds of years acting that way.
Good point. True.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I think America is just horribly individualized.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's
so.
worse and worse as we go.
And you do you think though, like you said originally, like you think we were designed or meant to come up in such a fashion? Do you think as you bring up Hollywood or politics or the elites or whatever, however you want to say it?
All of the above.
Yeah. Do you think they have kind of poisoned that to where they created that division where they don't want us coming together? So they've kind of put that as the norm. So the norm isn't coming up together because, like, check this out, man. Like, what comes to my mind as you're driving out, because we have a little community. I imagine everyone listening already knows this, maybe not. But just, south of here, there's that community, which is Yoder, which has a lot of Amish. And I know that one, as you're coming into town, man, dude, he has that huge building. You can tell, like...
Oh, he's just added on and added
Yeah,
on
he just kept adding on. You can tell there's, like, family after family after family after family lives there.
And it's one of the larger spreads.
Right, so he is technically doing what I'm talking about now. And, dude, he has an immaculate big place. I mean, I've never actually toured through there or seen it, but from the road I've seen it.
Yeah, no,
and it is, I would say, pristine, man. And it is... You can tell he's growing and developing, and he's doing something great there.
It's multi-generational.
Yeah, he has like a small community there, exactly, multi-generations, and he just keeps it going, so it continues to build and build and build. So it's like, man, what if we all took a page from that note, you know what I mean, from that notepad, and we started implementing that more?
It would be great.
I think so, too. So it's
I think it would be.
So I don't know why... Like, I guess we go back to it, just our culture and what has been defined, and like you have to vacate
anywhere that was highly affected. Like, I don't know, this is just speculation or conjecture, whatever. You think of like different time periods. So obviously, if you go to the first, and we'll say AD, right, from Christ forward. Before that, you can see in any ancient writings how people lived. It was communal living. A lot of nomadic people because they were herdsmen, so they would have to graze and move. So then let's go early church, still community, still family orientated. A lot of the old tradition followed from Judaism into Christianity, so they're still doing those things, right? Avoiding the temple for the most part, but creating house churches, those types of things, communal living. And then the communities would all come together as a bigger collective, you know what I mean, and trade and all those things. Go 5, 6, 7, 800 AD, same thing's happening. But you get this expansion of different, whatever it is, people are moving and, you know what I'm saying, they're exploring more, blah, blah, blah. And so you can just see this like every so often, you know, there's things that we would take notice of. So like the first one that pops in my head is like things that were affected by the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then you think early or late 1800s, early 1900s, you know, where this Industrial Revolution's really taken off at a really fast. I know the one fly. I hope you can hear it on the mic. But I'm just, and so yeah, so now we're in a culture that is fueled by falsities. And it's everywhere. It's on billboards, it's on radio commercials, it's on your TV, it's on every aspect of your life. You're being influenced.
So check this out, though. But do you and as we're talking about it, the thought crosses me. Do you think it is just because things have gotten where we've gotten comfortable, where it's gotten easier? You know what I mean, as far as sustained living, and you know, we just don't have to work as hard to survive, more or less. And, you know, everything, you know, we have our running water, we have our food supply down at the corner, we have, you know, everybody,
I think
living's just got a little easier, so therefore we don't have to rely on one another as much, so we can sustain ourselves without that real tight-knit community.
Well, we still unknowingly rely on others.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying as far as that tight-knit community, like, you know what I mean, like living together with one another, you know what I mean, and do you think...
Think like this. In the 80s, I grew up basically in the same neighborhood, and I just had this conversation with someone else. I had the same postman, like, the whole time growing up, and I can't remember his name now. It's 30 years ago. But, like, we would... It was a motor route, so he drove his little truck around and all this and that, but... I mean, like, he knew us by name. Of course, he could see it on the envelope. You know what I mean? And we, like, knew him. We knew our trash guy.
Yeah.
I don't even go out of my way to really know my neighbors like that. You know what I mean? And part of me is like, You know, I want to go meet him and talk to him, and you know, we visit with the neighbors on this north side of us, but at the same time, it's like I don't. Maybe they don't want to be. You know,
Yeah, you just kind of stay in your lane.
Yeah, to stay in my lane.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I got the old lady across the street that comes out and smokes cigarettes and glares at me all the time, but I
Well,
think that's just her nature. You
Yeah,
know?
and I'm not necessarily talking about building a community like, you know, at that point. I'm talking
But you look
about,
at the principle
yeah.
of that, and you see that, and it's there again in the '80s. Growing up, we knew all our neighbors.
Good point,
We
man.
all
because-
did stuff
Yeah,
together.
dude, because I was thinking that when
We
I
would
was
have
growing up as a
multiple
kid.
barbecues.
Dude, exactly,
You
man.
know?
Good point, Ryan, because when I was growing up too, man, kick the can. Dude, all the neighborhoods, we'd be playing like war with all everybody, man. It was getting off the chain,
so it
dude.
wasn't busy. Like
Yeah.
and we just ran like a 30-block
Yeah,
square.
I don't know about a 30 block, but it would be at least a 3-block radius, man. You know what I mean? 30
Went
blocks,
from-
dude. That's like the whole. That's probably Hutchinson, dude. Ron running the streets deep.
I mean, so when we were real little, I mean, obviously we didn't scurry very far off Newport Road.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I mowed lawns, so I got out a little further. My little brother was hemmed up a lot, so not him so much. But for the longest time, I had from 17th to 30th and Plum to Severance. That was where my. And the only reason 17th is so I could go to the pool because it was south of 23rd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was able to walk to those places.
Yeah. And then
I couldn't ride my bike there
Yeah.
because it's too busy streets.
Right,
but I could
right.
walk and cross the street. Yeah, I thought that was dumb.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, I do what you're saying. I get what you're saying though. As I was growing up, yeah, we knew our neighbors, and you know, thinking right now though, like if I think of my neighborhood that I live in, I mean, I kind of know my neighbors,
Yeah,
man.
you've been there, what, 17-something years? 15
No,
years?
about 10.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
10,
So
something
even
like that.
that,
But
I
I met my neighbors across the street, you know,
Yeah.
next door. We don't necessarily get along the best, you know, at times, but at least we we recognize each other and have respect for one another,
Yeah.
for sure.
I live in an area that's probably mostly rentals.
Yeah.
So
see,
I don't even
I
know.
live with a bunch of. Well, there's some rentals, but mostly.
I would say mostly homeowners where you're at,
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think, I mean, if it's like asking the question and all you got to do is pay attention to answer said question.
Yeah, like,
You know what I mean?
But
Like,
I'm
when you
just
really
thinking
think about it.
like as you're growing up, you know, we have kids. Like, why would we not just, you know, at some point, and maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe we
Well,
start
there's a
this.
lot of
I don't
this.
know. Maybe
Think about-
like we just buy, you know, everyone comes together. You know, everyone's working, making money. Everyone's doing things,
Yeah,
and
throw it in the-
we just grab all our resources. And then we just start building, man. We
Right.
buy a plot of land,
If
you know,
you did
out
that-
on the outskirts,
If you did
and
that,
then we just
people
start
would say
building.
you were a cult.
Maybe, but who cares
Yeah,
what
that's what I
people
was like,
think,
that
man?
was about it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares what people think? I'm trying something different, man. You know what I mean? Well, not necessarily
It's
something
not
different. I
different.
imagine
It's going
there's-
back to my roots.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going back the way it was designed to be. You know what I mean? Because we crave connection with one another. We crave, you know, we crave that. God craves that, I would think, to a point, man. Is that unity with one another. You know what I mean? Loving your neighbor, loving one another, man. And then I think you just build from that, man. I don't know, man. I've been thinking on that quite a bit here lately.
Yeah.
And I think there's a guy, you know, I don't know. I won't speak on it because I really don't know much on it. But I think there's a guy down in Florida maybe doing something like this where he's like selling land or something where you can go down there and, you know, begin to build with him as a community and like grow and trade. And
That probably is a cult.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Hey, just don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, if you have a big old assembly with people and they're talking about let's drink Kool-Aid because we're trying to meet up with this comet.
It's
And the
interesting.
alien ship going by.
Right.
Hey, red flags, man. Discernment's key in those points.
It's
Don't drink the
interesting
Kool-Aid.
how fast people would build around something like that. So if you had a small group of people, and I've watched, I mean, dozens of documentaries on stuff like this, you have a small following, and then and it starts out word of mouth, and all of a sudden you go from having 5 or 8 or 10 people to 20, and it exponentially grows.
Yeah.
But then it gets to a point. I mean, you have to have a limit on it. Like these people that want to live in this utopian style.
I don't think it would be quite,
hippies.
yeah.
But, and you watch all of it. It's a great idea. I'm not disputing that. But someone has to be in charge.
Yeah, well, yeah, you would
You know
have
what
to
I mean?
have a,
And then
a
all
chain
of a
of
sudden-
command. That's what I'm saying. Egos come in.
Then there's a breakdown.
That's why I
and
say
then
it
there's
don't
a split
work,
off
man.
of the group.
Yeah.
It's and you think about
Because of selfishness, man.
Right.
I think selfishness, like I said, go back to that. That selfishness, I think, would get in the way. You know,
it would.
everybody
So-
wants to do this because I don't know,
So,
man.
and you think about, so let's look at it in these terms, like from Scripture, where Jesus says, families are going to be divided because of their belief in me, and he's that's a long term thing that's going to happen, obviously, but really he's talking about the right then in that moment because people are converting from Judaism to Christianity, and tradition trumped everything. And like we were just talking about, so if you have this,
You're out.
Well, I mean, there is, so it has to be. So then you
Cross the line, you got to go.
Well, it's like you take we sat in a Bible study working through Matthew, and on the average, there was at least three of us. You know what I mean? When we first started, there's 5 or 6, and it was always always interesting the kind of different takes on it.
Oh yeah,
right.
Man.
So
yeah.
then,
I love that.
Well, that's good. That's a double-edged sword, though, because then how far are you willing to go with that to say, all right, now my disagreements become a boundary, and you're no longer welcome in my Bible study. You see what I'm driving at?
Well,
here?
no, but at that point, you don't really know. You have a boundary, but you just created a barrier, I would say.
Okay, well, same thing. Whatever you want to call it. I mean...
Yeah. Well, that's two different things. But,
I digress. So, a separation, right?
Yeah.
So now, that would still feed into, even in the Amish community, so they have the bishop who gets to interpret the Bible, and everybody falls in line, and if they don't, then they're out.
Yeah.
Right? So the same thing would happen, and I think that has fueled also this why people don't want to entertain that idea.
Yeah, I just think people I don't know, man.
I think, think of your, I mean, I don't know.
Well, I look at my family like that, as you were saying that, I was
you were
thinking
born and
about my
raised
family.
in the same town. How many people stayed?
That's what I mean, but all my family's pretty much
Right.
here, man. But I was thinking like if we were all intertwined together as one, you know what I mean, living in this little community, I don't know. I mean, in just my family alone, I don't know that it would work. Not like my boys and everything. It may or may not. I don't know yet. But like you looking at my family, like my brothers and my sisters and my parents, I don't know that it would work. But then at the same time, it might work.
Well, there's going to be a...
But I don't know, man. I think there'd be a lot of butting heads, you know what I mean? Because then you get egos involved, and everyone's trying to be this and that.
Let's throw out a hypothetical.
And I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna continue on with, I don't know.
Right, but let's throw out a hypothetical, and of course it'll be extreme. Let's say nuclear war happens tomorrow.
Nuclear war won't happen. The aliens won't allow it, right? Just saying.
Aliens, if you believe in aliens.
There you go.
I mean, there's something, but there ain't.
Anyways, go ahead.
Another
man.
A word or a D word.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's say that happens, and the only way to survive is to come together in community.
Yeah.
So I've already made up my mind, fall in line, right? Yeah. But I'm not going to just fall in line under some dipshit. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you'd have to prove yourself as a solid leader, man.
Well, then other people will be falling in line under you. So I guess if you want to take a leadership role, then hopefully you're prepared for a leadership role. So then let's say I fall in line under Fred, right? And then my kid comes up and Fred says no.
Yeah.
Then now I'm forced to make this decision. Okay, sorry, bub, but Fred says no for these reasons. Yeah. And so then now either I fall in line or I'm out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then,
I get it. That's why.
So there's all these factors that play into this, and so I don't know. I've already made up my mind to there's going to be a group of people that are automatically, hypothetically speaking, that would automatically band together.
Mm-hmm.
Now you would think it would be the church as a whole, but it won't be. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, look. Listen,
but I don't know.
This is the Orthodox line, is the middle of this table. How far, and little Orthodox, not Orthodox Church, but how far past that line is your tolerance level when someone's coming into your community? And it's not about saying, it's not about what you believe, it's about what you're going to voice and how you're going to react.
I guess you would have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, and you would have to surround yourself with, I guess, you know what I mean, like just come to an understanding that this is, I don't know.
You'd have to fall in line.
I don't know if you necessarily have to fall in line, but you just have to stay respectful.
You'd have to know your place.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to. Well, yeah, you would have to know your place to a point, but as long as you're contributing and and doing your thing, man, I think you'd be all right, man. But again, you would have the power trippers, you'd have the ego mandrills, you'd have the ones that are like, this is the line. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And this is I would say it's more of a barrier, not a boundary. And this is it, because if they cross a boundary, you could be like, hey, man, you're pressing up onto this. You're going to have to check yourself, that's your little spot over there.
Well, yeah,
go ahead and contain it in that area. Now, if you want to bring it into this area, you would have to have a little give and take, man. But if you're like, well, this is how we're going to be, this is how it's going to be, this is it, you'd be like, well, dude, like, I bet you even crossed that yourself. So, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
to a point.
Well,
So it's like you'd have to have a little bit of grace, a little bit of love. You know what I mean? Not to go there with it, but I'm just saying I think it could work, man. And I think it would be.
I don't think that would work in the extreme hypothetical that I offer.
I don't think it, but yeah, but if you go to extremes, things. If you ever go to extremes, I don't think things aren't gonna work. That's why we're at in this world right now in our country. You could go there is because we have gone extreme to extreme. And things just don't work in extreme environments. So you have to stay on that path.
Hold on a second. Let's think about in our scheme of what we think is extreme. I think it's extreme, and I don't care who it was or any of those things. I think it's extreme that 1,000 pagers blew up in people's pockets yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I think that's an extreme.
Well, that is an extreme, and it doesn't work.
Depends on your perception. Now, the people that are pushing the button say, it worked.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't work for everybody, though.
It worked so good they did it again.
Well, it doesn't work for everybody.
But what's the end game of that? How long before what we carry in our pocket?
I don't know, man. If you're blowing up lithium batteries in my pocket, I'm gonna have to say you're kicked out of the community.
So how soon does the extreme?
I mean, you're booted, dog.
But listen, how soon does the extreme matter enough that you're gonna get rid of that?
If you start staying there, if you continue to stay in an extreme environment, things will not work. In an extreme environment, there's probably not much grace. I would say in an extreme environment, there's not much love. In an extreme environment, I would say there's probably not much Christ.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Obviously,
there's not.
Where the stuff is happening at, there's very little of that.
And it's not going to work.
The idea, the idea would be to get out of the extreme environment, to create something that works. I'm talking about an extreme event that starts something that we're not used to.
Yeah, right? But then again, if you have that extreme event, you know what I mean? Do you choose to stay in that extreme event, or do you offer that 3-piece combo? You know what I mean?
You have to constantly.
Are you offering forgiveness? Are you offering gratitude? Are you offering praise? You know what I mean? What are you doing in those extreme levels? Are you staying in that? Are you coming with animosity, bitterness, anger? Is that where you're going to stay? I know those things probably come off the gate, but you're going to have to, especially if you're in a community type environment, you're going to have to work around that and work. I wouldn't say try. You're going to have to work, to put in work to get yourself back out of an extreme environment and coexist and get into more of a coexistence type behavior. Because it ain't your world, man. Yeah, it ain't your world. It ain't my world. You know what I mean? We got to live with one another, man. And people, and then again, that's why I was saying that's kind of where we are as a nation. Everybody wants to be stuck on this extreme section, and we will destroy ourselves. We will destroy ourselves just by our extreme nature, because we don't back off.
We just talked about this last week when we talked about the bay. Is like, even if you're in the middle, the extremes force you. Well, first off, they label you. So if you lean a tiny bit to this side, then this side says, "Oh, you're this," and this side says you're that.
Well, the extremes are going to say that, man. That's why I'd be like, "Hey, man, you're living on the extreme side, man. It ain't working. How's it working? How's it working for you over there?"
Yeah, but they think it's working out great. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, they do.
Especially if they're the ones in control.
Well, yeah, they're not allowed in my community. Or not mine. They're not allowed in our community.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it ain't mine, man.
Until they come knock on the door. You know what
I mean? They come knocking, man.
Then here we are back to the extreme.
Well, they're on my boundary, man.
Make a decision.
Yeah, you're on my boundary. You're just pressing on my boundary.
You already came past the warning sign. Look out for the guy in the green suit. Yeah. See, to me, that's extreme.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The
Yeah, it
idea.
is. But I think it's certain. But again, though, in certain circumstances, it is going to call for an extreme. I mean, in some situations, extreme behavior is warranted and is needed. Now, do you stay in that extreme? I would have to say no, because if you begin to, like I said, if you begin to stay in that extreme, then you're going to lose, man. Like, it doesn't work. Nothing works in the extreme natures, man.
It changes your mindset.
Yeah.
You think about like Ukraine, where they're in a. I mean, what has it been over a year now that they've been fighting over there? Some stupid amount of time. It's already gone on too long. And the weird thing is, in my mind, I'm like, I just feel like Putin wants this to drag on and on and on and on. He don't care.
Well, I just think he's got his boundary, man. And people are pressing on him.
Well, he doesn't want to. He doesn't. Yeah. Well, all the people that wanted Putin to come into those cities are already in Russia.
Yeah.
They already went back to Russia, and the people that didn't want him there, that didn't want to fight, they went west.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever. So it's this ground dispute where tens of thousands of people are going to die or have already died. I don't know the number. And so then
It's probably ongoing at this point.
no, it's just going up.
Yeah.
Like a ticker.
Yeah.
And to me, the thought of if that just the thought of how far am I going to go to protect my corner lot, you know,
Yeah.
and where do I stand on stuff? And so I don't know. At the end of the day, I stand on what God says, to be quite honest, and I think that even if you look at that principle, which most everything is foundational principles come from religion. I don't care what part of the world you're in. Your religion dictates your everything. It's influenced everything. And lack of religion or whatever influences things. So to keep it broad.
Yeah. Then again, you would stick to your like-minded people. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you're, you would just stick to your like-minded people. And what happens is everyone tries to push their stuff onto everybody else, man. It's like, why? Why do you push so much?
Natural human nature says.
Well, you can discuss it and we can talk about it, but at a certain point, it's like, hey, man, it's not getting accepted, man. You know what I mean? We're at a disagreement. That's fine. We can disagree. So just step off.
Right.
But they don't. It's just like we just want to keep pressing on people, man. And then you have then I would go into that. Then wars begin.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
only a matter of time before
like
something
war pigs,
way
man.
more
Like get
serious.
out of here, man.
Well, people thrive on that. They like that part.
Oh yeah,
They
because
love the fight.
it's that power, man. That ego, man. I think, man. That's that selfishness. I would say, man.
It's humanity at a whole.
Exactly, man.
I mean,
Well,
it really
it
is.
speaks of selfishness, man. Humanity itself speaks of selfishness, I believe, to a point.
I mean,
It's in the nature.
look at it from the dawn of time.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man.
We spent our whole life fighting
Yeah.
that. We've spent our whole life fighting that demon.
Yeah, and why?
That influence and that oppression.
Jeez,
What do you
man.
mean why? Because God wants us to choose Him over that.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So make a choice, man.
I always come down to scripture where it's like, resist the devil and he'll flee from you. And I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm like, dang, how long do I have to resist? And obviously what the book says is till the end.
Yeah.
Right?
May we endure, Ryan.
I had this like false concept early on in my youth and like when I was going to church in my 20s that it's like, well, I'm going to resist him, he's going to leave forever. Never to mess with Ryan again, you know?
Yeah.
And then all that happened was I believed that lie that he was whispering in my ear like, you're good, you know?
You're solid, man. Go ahead and relax a little bit. Take
Yeah,
it easy,
yeah, let
man.
your
For a
guard down.
lifetime, man. Let me go ahead and take you over, sir.
Don't pay attention to
Yeah, I mean,
people.
you got to hold ground, right?
I'm sure I'm told. Yeah, well, I
you
mean,
know this. Yeah.
the majority of people won't hold ground though. They're going to go with the majority. I see it all the time, you know. And I mean, there's times where I do. It's like in my old work situation. It's like, well, crap. I guess if you can't beat them, join them. You know. Well, then in the end, it ends up. Sometimes the decision's made for you. You're not going to work there anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I just know I went down to some, I don't know, just shit roads, man. Doing that. I've learned from experience, man. I'll go with God. God willing. God willing.
Yeah.
I'll continue to go with God.
It's
right?
difficult to do that in an ungodly
Ah,
place.
man, I like that, man. I like that path, though.
Well, yes.
May it be difficult.
It's
man.
the path to most resistance.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally has to be. Otherwise, the book wouldn't say few will find it.
And I'll find
many
gratitude in the strength that it provides. Me,
Many
man,
will try and
it
few will
gives me.
find it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about this when we cover some of our episodes,
Yeah.
looking back over a year. But, I mean, and I've said this, I don't even know, but if you had asked me in 1995 what I thought 2024 would look like, it wouldn't have been this. You know, it wouldn't have been the Back to the Future version of the thing. You know what I'm saying? But I just, I don't know. I just, it wouldn't be this.
Yeah, man.
It just really wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And not that it was like great then. I mean, I used to give my dad a hard time because like he lived through the Cold War. You know, like people were like genuinely scared and living with that constant burden of fear. A healthy fear, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a healthy fear to be concerned about certain things like that, you know.
I think it keeps you in a state of preparation, anyways.
Well, it would,
For
but
sure.
it makes you more self-sufficient, different things like that also.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But I'm just, and so as he comes through that, and then, you know, leading up to the Ukraine war, with the country that kept us bound to the Cold War for so long, you know what I'm saying? And I asked my dad if he, you know, I said, but, you know, this is old order Russia coming out. You're not nervous at all? And he's like, I survived the first one.
Yeah.
You know, he's like,
man,
weirdly enough, I know where all the bomb shelters are. Because it was like a big deal when he grew
I don't
up.
know. I don't think, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, Ryan. I'm not too concerned about it, man. That's what all I know.
I don't necessarily know that I'm like overly concerned. I love the show though.
You
You know what I mean? I love the show. And
It's like that chaos, man. But that's why I think people. I don't know, man. Maybe
Well,
people need
like-
that chaos. Just like we'll take it
It's
down to
fuel.
simple. Like like
it's fuel.
like your wife's gone. You're here at the house. You know what I mean? You're feeling. You know what I mean? Like
Well, weirdly enough, I'm feeling a lack of chaos.
yeah, that's what I mean. So almost maybe people need those rumors of war, those that chaos, man. They feed off of it, man.
Well,
You know, I don't
talks
know.
about that in Scripture too. It's
Yeah.
like people. You have these two things. So you have what you're focused on. You're going to hear about these things, but focus here.
Yeah.
These things are going to happen, but focus here.
Yeah.
This has already happened, and you see what happened when people lost their focus. So focus here.
Yeah, check your focus, man. Check your focus.
And
What
stay
you
the
focusing
course.
on, man?
Stay the course.
Yeah, what you focusing on? Stay the course.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to
Peace
this.
cut,
Keeler. It comes down to: are you willing to stand on what you believe to the bitter end? And the book says, those who endure to the end will be saved.
Yeah, and I think so, man.
You
I
know,
think so.
and
Yeah, I think so.
and if my belief in my Creator God, Father, Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ is anything less than believing that, then I don't know. I think it goes right to Revelation 1 or 2, where it talks about the lukewarm idea of things, and it talks about Matthew 7, like we checked all the boxes.
Yeah, man. I think
Except for one.
I think as you move through, man, and as you move and make your choices, I mean,
Yeah.
Christ has to be a part of that
I
decision
think
making, man.
I think the biggest thing
Has to be, man.
that
Especially if you're trying to endure, man. Especially in these times, man. It's getting wild
Right.
out there, man. You better be checking your choices, man. Make sure they're aligned with Christ. Make sure you're doing things accordingly. And if not, I mean, you know, you better take that two-edged sword and dig it inwards, man.
I think, yeah.
Peel that sucker out, man.
I think we're so propagandized. I guess that'd be the word, or if not, it's going to go in the dictionary.
Brainwashed, maybe.
Well, brainwashed, whatever. But that we're almost like used to it through video games and movies and different things, and it's like, or The Simpsons. I mean, I don't know.
It's like that boiling pot people like to always suggest, you know, with the frog. You throw the frog in the pot and you slowly turn it up. The frog just chills, you know, you start at, you know, regular temperature and you slowly turn it up before you know it, the frog's toasted, man, boiled up, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't even know it.
Well, he would willingly get in the pot, probably.
Yeah,
That's the
probably,
thing too. I think
yeah.
that's the.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
I don't
so,
know. I think it's interesting
So check yourself.
the climate of everything. I mean, not just I'm not talking about weather. I'm just saying political, you know, religious, all of it. There's so many things that are happening on such a bigger scale than ever in history.
Yeah.
Just from here a while back, I was out at Mary Mag and JVB hit me with the question. He's like, how many people do you think have like lived in just America? Right, 1 billion.
Throughout time?
So, how many in just North America throughout time? How many people have lived and died, or are still living for that matter? It would be around probably close to 1 billion.
That'd be a lot, man. I'd say
That is
more
a
than
lot.
that. Over the whole, if you go back to the beginning of time and move forward through all the people, oh my gosh.
Well, you
A
think what
lot
it
of
take?
people, Ryan.
It is a lot of people.
You'd have to
just
check
in
a death
North.
rate and born
Listen,
rate,
stop
do some
though.
calculations.
Well, I already have. I've read on this. Just in North America, right? Not just the United States, but North America as a whole. So that would be anything north of the Panama Canal, right? And at first you're like, "1 billion don't seem like a lot." There's
A
about
whole lot.
it is a lot. There's about 500 million people alive in North America right now.
Right.
About 275 million just in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, which I thought Canada would have way more people.
No, Canada doesn't
Doesn't
very
have
people.
very many people.
Dude,
In localized
I was
big
looking at
cities.
that the other day, man.
Right.
Even I was looking at their like troop count,
So,
stuff like that the other day, and it's not
Where
even that much.
where are half
Not many people.
where are 500 million bodies at?
Yeah.
Right? You think about Hutchinson, there's 30,000 people, give or take.
30, 35.
4 cemeteries that are within, not necessarily in city
Oh,
limits,
yeah,
but
where
right
all
there.
the people at? Hopefully they're.
Hutch was founded in the late 1800s.
No, I tell my kids to throw me in a cave, dude.
I'm all right. I just want to be creative. But yeah, so think about it. Now. Keep in mind, half those people are still alive today.
Yeah.
So North America, going back 10,000 years, whatever it was. Keep in mind, just North America, and then you think about in the scheme of those things. So then it leads me on to like thinking what those people went through, right?
Yeah.
So the Native Americans, as the invasion of Europe comes in, and they're getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Here they were faced with the same things that we're going to face, and we see through history how that worked out. But yet we want to repeat history over
Oh, dude,
and
that,
over
I was gonna say,
and
yeah,
over
dude, that
again.
cycle. And I can tell you this, man. I know some of them are buried. I remember years ago, back in my I've been early 20s, man. I used to do a lot of weed eating back in the day.
Yeah.
And dude, there is down in southeast Kansas, man. Dude, there are places, dude, are off the grid. You would never even know they were there.
Yeah, country cemetery.
Hey,
was.
man, I was out there weed eating them things, man. And there'd be like, dude, like little stones, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking like little tiny stones, like the size of your hand, would be a grave marker.
Yeah.
And dude, we'd eat around that, man, and there'd be, a bunch of those little stones. And how long those been sitting there? I don't know, man.
So yeah,
Well, there's probably graves beyond that no one even knows ever there anymore. You know what I
obviously
mean?
there are. I mean,
Like,
through excavation and stuff, people
Yeah.
can find bodies sometimes in your backyard,
yeah, man.
and then they come in and test them and be like, well, first thing they do is like,
Let
is
me
this
find a
is
body
this
in my
recent-
backyard. I'm tax exempt, man. I gotta.
Depends on the body.
Like,
If it's your old neighbor,
this is
that
a
might
burial
not be
ground
good.
right here. I can't be taxed no more, man.
Yeah.
Like
You
this
can
is
try.
legit.
Well, so but
I get
that's-
some type of loopholes with that, but anyway.
So where my uncle lives, he lives out in Mulvane, by that casino. And when he built his house, it was agriculture. So there was like a house across the road. He was on a 4-way intersection. Turnpike's about 2 miles away. So 35 highway. So yeah. So then all of a sudden now, which he still owns his 8 acres. He would not sell any of it. So he has a pretty good perimeter around his corner lot.
right.
Everybody else sold out. Now it's a big housing development, and his is right in the middle of this 8 acres
Holy
of this
crap,
house built in
man.
the 80s.
Holy crap.
So Caddy Corner was an old cemetery,
Yeah.
and they removed all those bodies to move them to a new cemetery to sell that ground. And you think, me and the boys were just talking about this. My dad bought funeral plots in the 80s. When he got divorced, he sold them. He probably gave a couple $100, $300, $400 for them. When they
People
sold
crack
for
me
like
up,
a grand or $1,200.
Oh.
When we went to Price Funeral Plots, when Trisha's dad died, for city cemeteries, $2,500 for an 6 by 8 by 6 foot
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's
piece of dirt.
stupid.
Farm
man.
ground's
Stupid.
like $2,000 an acre.
Like, why? Why would you spend that much money to bury a body, man?
Well, it was $420 out in the country cemetery.
Yeah, I'd be like,
You know,
Just dig a hole, dog.
Can you think how expensive it would be?
Dig a hole, throw me in there, man. Let the worms
It's
have at
illegal.
me. Let me naturally just decompose, man.
So the law says.
Yeah,
you
why is
can't.
it illegal? What? That's
Well,
retarded, man.
Here we are, falling
Yeah,
line, right?
exactly. Retarded. I would say you're retarded.
If they just started burying random bodies like they used to do,
They would just
It would-
decompose, man.
well, it would. But
A body's going to decompose over time, Ryan.
right, but
Unless you put it in a coffin that's all sealed tight. And then,
some of those bodies
you
don't
know,
decompose over time. But they've dug
Oh,
them up
yeah.
30, 40 years old, and there's barely any decomposition.
Exactly.
That
Hair's
Garden
still
of-
growing,
Garden
nails
of
are all
Eden.
long. You're looking like the crypt keeper or something.
The Garden of Eden up in Lucas, that, I don't even know how long that dude's been in that glass coffin.
Freaking weirdos,
Yeah.
man. That's that weirdo shit, Ryan. That's that weirdo, man.
Well, have
Hard
you seen
pass.
Have you seen
That's
the
like the Catholic where they bring them up out of the, you know what I mean, the dead bodies. Like this was, this or whoever it is. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. They save those dead bodies and they bring them up and they're like, you know what I mean? Like,
There's lots of people that do that, not just Catholics.
dude, I don't even know. That's that weirdo stuff, man. Sorry for Catholic. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Speaking out loud there.
Nothing against Catholics.
I think it's funny though.
What do you think? Even in the Catholic
Like that's that weirdo stuff, man.
saying
Like
that
why are
there's
you
not-
saving dead bodies, man? Let it go.
tradition,
Exactly, that's weirdo stuff, man. Let that tradition go, man. If you're bringing up dead bodies to show off and represent, man, I mean,
yeah, but they
let them go.
they've done that. I mean,
Oh yeah, let it go.
Um,
I'm going to say that's one tradition we might want to, you know.
I mean, think about
I don't know,
how
right?
that tradition. But listen,
I don't know. What's your take on that,
Think
Ryan?
with the tradition-
Keeping dead bodies around and bringing them up to
the tradition
get
carried
answers.
on. Listen, the tradition carried on not to get answers. If you're praying to the dead bodies, you're doing it wrong. But to honor, however you want to look at it, how's that any different than an open casket funeral? The tradition carried is just it looks different than it used to.
Yeah, I don't know. Try to
You know,
stay away from those two.
When they the honor that was given to the dead in other religions always has amazed me. You know what I mean? I think Christians probably give the least honor to people once they pass. To be quite honest,
I don't know about that, man.
listen, hear me out on this though. You think
Ah.
other traditions, what they do, and just like you're saying, they would present the body for sometimes up to
No,
40 days.
I'm not saying like you shouldn't have like a a funeral or a celebration of life or however you want to look at that. I'm not saying not to do that. I'm saying like as far as keeping the body and trying to like for like decades, like years and years and years, you got this preserved dead body that you're like
No, okay.
bringing
okay.
about to like.
So now you're going to extremes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. When people do that,
There
man,
are
I've
people
seen.
that do
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I
That's
would
that
say-
weirdo stuff, man. Like, why are you keeping hold of that, man? I don't know,
That's why I don't
man.
go to the cemetery very often.
I don't.
I go-
I think cemeteries. I hold my breath. That's all I know.
That's superstitious. I'm protected. That's the way I see it.
I was just being funny.
No, I
right?
know. I used to. I mean, that's like a kid's thing.
It's just a game, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, I go. I feel compelled always when someone passes to go, especially if they're, you know, not even necessarily a close personal friend, but someone I knew on a personal level. But you won't see me like running out. I don't know. And it's not a disconnect. It's not that I don't care. I mean, I don't see the necessity and the need to go out there to do those things. And part of that for me is like, I don't know, when God set me free of grief, of loss, the whatever in my head, you know what I mean, just is not there. The necessity to go back all the time to do these things is just not there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Kind of.
I do.
So I mean, and maybe that's not the majority norm. I don't know, you know, but still, at the end of the day, it begs the question. What are you looking for?
I googled why do Catholics keep body parts of saints.
There's a lot, but
Yeah, that's what they do, man. We
Yeah, but
honor the
there's-
relics of the saints because we honor the fidelity to Christ and their imitation of his perfect sacrifice
listen.
on the cross.
Listen.
So we place their relics under the altar because their sacrifice was only made possible through the grace they received. So I don't know. So they're keeping body parts, dude.
yeah.
You said because the Catholics don't do it. And I thought they did, so I just checked. So they do keep the
yeah,
body
yeah,
parts
yeah.
of the saints. Now,
What,
I don't know,
what
maybe
happened
someone
was
can comment
I misunderstood what you meant.
and
by
maybe
that.
somebody can inform me. I guess that's why they do
So-
it. But I don't. Do they have body parts of Christ still? I mean, I don't know, man.
How could they?
Well, they say they do it in imitation of
remembrance.
Christ. So why would they
Now,
not?
listen,
If they're keeping body parts, that'd be one you would want. 'Cause
How
that's why
would you
they're doing
keep body parts from someone that's resurrected and not here?
No, good point.
The tomb was empty. There wasn't no parts left.
So do they have parts of? Well, see, man, we could
They
get
have-
into, dude. This could go into a good conversation.
Listen,
because
my
then we could
battery's
go
gonna
back
die.
to we could go
But
back to
hold on,
Moses
hold on.
too, and why did Moses secretly hide? You know, why didn't he let anyone know about Moses? You know, where he was buried or what happened to Moses, and that could be because he didn't want them to make a shrine
I don't
of
think
the
Moses,
body.
well, I don't
You know
think,
what I mean?
I don't think Moses' body's on earth.
I don't know. That's what I mean, but that could get into a whole other podcast.
I think Moses was ascended into heaven, same as Elijah.
Well, you could say a lot, but other people would say other than that too, and that would be into a great debate right there, or a great
Let's
conversation.
go to the
Well, no, I don't want to talk about it, man. I just
So
brought
at
it
this
up for a
point in
second.
time, we would have to think that Moses is resurrected, minimally resurrected, because he is on the Mount of Transfiguration.
Well, yeah, it's possible, but also it could be that no one would ever know where he was buried, just for the simple fact that they didn't want to make a shrine of where he was buried, and the people worship that grave. You know what I mean? Or the body parts are kind of what they're doing. I would take. You could go to that stance as well.
I think that they can. I think Satan
can go.
contended for the bones of Moses, so he could take ownership of them, so the prophecy couldn't be fulfilled.
Yeah, possibly, man. I don't know.
I mean, that's the
I don't know.
prophecy. Prophecy comes out when it talks about the law and the prophet on the Mount of Transfiguration. We have.
Yeah, my
You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know. I'm not up to speed to have that conversation now. I just brought it up, but like I just know that.
Well, let's go back to the relics thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So ancient Judaism held relics, right? They held relics in the Ark of the Covenant. You know what I mean? It was a big deal, and so some of that tradition did filter on. And the
That's
idea
weird,
of the relics of what they had is that's all they had in physical form to hold on to.
Man, it's weird to me.
Well, of course it is, because it's so far outside of the.
Dude, if I was around 5,000 years ago and you're trying to keep a dead body around in some relic, I would still let you know that was kind of weird.
You should talk to John about
I was
this.
still
it's a
holding
great-
ground on that. I'd be like, man, that's some weirdo shit, man.
Well,
Hard pass.
I
You
would
bring
say
it out,
so.
old Crypt Keeper's hand. Be like, this is the St. John, man. Be like, nah, man, that's weird. Dude, he's passed on, man. You know what I mean? You're holding on to materialistic possessions, man. Mean nothing.
At the end of the day, they don't mean a lot. You're right.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
they're, I don't know,
And the
man.
scheme of tradition.
They seem to think they do.
Well, I mean, Protestants hold Protestants hold certain things in so high regard that that it becomes infallible, and we're looking at a book over 2,000 years that was written by men and translated by men, hopefully influenced by the Holy Spirit.
Hey,
Right?
Yeah.
But we have 9,000 different denominations. Which one is influenced?
I don't know. In fact,
Maybe
I
if
changed
we
my
went back
mind.
to hold
Yeah.
relics, we would be closer to where we started.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, after this conversation, Ryan, I've now changed my mind where I just don't want to be, when I die, I just don't want to be thrown in the cave. I want to be stuffed, planted in a rocking chair.
Have you seen this?
Stuck in a corner, and I want to rock the rest of eternity in a rocking
fall
chair
apart.
with my corpse. And I want generations and generations beyond my time
Have you seen
to be like, who's the old man in the rocking chair?
Have you seen the meme where they epoxy grandma on the coffee table?
Exactly.
So that she can be there for coffee every day.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, man.
That's why I want,
Oh,
if you come see me in my
hilarious.
grave, on my headstone, it's going to say, I hope I owe you a lot of money.
Man, I'm not even in that grave, man.
Yeah. That's what I said. If you come
I'll live
to visit,
forever, dog.
If you come to visit it, on my
Yeah.
headstone, it's going to say, I hope I owe you a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot,
That's pretty good, right?
there's a lot that goes into all this thought process, and as you're coming through, the key to all this is discernment.
Yeah.
Right, and if you have not asked God to give you discernment, if you haven't if you haven't been saved, if you haven't been regenerated, then your discernment's up in the air. I'm just saying, and if you have, your discernment's up in the air. You
For
have to
real.
confirm it through lots of different avenues. Through your friends, your community, through church, whatever, through scripture, through prayer, those is what we were talking about, splutno, that gut feeling that's down inside you.
Yeah, real deep.
So, it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm probably gonna sleep on the couch. But when I lay my head down at the end of the day, I'm gonna think, and it's the same thought I have every day. Like, what have I done to deserve any of this? What have I ever done to deserve any grace, any mercy, any blessing whatsoever? And then my next thought is, I'm actually overblessed. Because I have done everything in my power to destroy everything around me over my life. And then here I am, redeemed. Right?
Yeah. That'll take you away from that extreme, I would think.
Well, I wish it would take me to where I don't enjoy watching the extremes.
Yeah.
You know? But it just comes down to that end of the day, when I'm in that peaceful place, and I have that moment to take, and I'm taking in information constantly. I mean, like, even when you rolled up, I'm having my earbud in listening, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think there's some value in it, depending on it. I mean, I learned 2 new big words. I had to look them up because, like, they throw these big words around because they're way smarter than me, and I'm just like, what's that even mean? Like, give me some context here, dang it. They talk so fast. So you're gaining something depending on how you look at it, but my focus still has to be on the cross. My focus still has to be on Christ. My focus still has to be on that community where I can build valuable relationships that are going to sustain me to the end that I might be saved. Right? And I don't know, do you think it's bad to focus on reward? I mean, the Bible does talk a lot about reward, like, what's waiting for us?
Well, yeah, you're looking for, I guess the reward would be salvation, you know what I mean?
That's the ultimate reward,
That's
because
what I mean.
without that, you don't get to enjoy all that.
That's what I mean. I think there's levels to everything, you know what I mean? I think as long as you're just focusing on the race at hand, staying in the moment and moving forward, and you're looking at that prize, you know what I mean, that ultimate prize, you got that treasure in heaven, you know what I mean? I would think that would be a reward, you know, you keep your treasures in heaven,
right.
That would be the prize, and that's what you're working towards. I mean, I'd say you're all right, Ryan.
So, in closing, I wonder if Trish will send you a message about relics.
Oh, snap. I didn't even think about that. Oh, yeah, people probably get fired up.
Did they show you the one
man.
Upstairs?
No, I bet people are going to get fired up about me about saving dead body parts.
Yeah,
man.
but listen.
But hey, each to their own, man. You want to hold on to dead, crippled up, crypt keeper hands, and I know. Yeah, that's why. Maybe I just don't understand it as much. But to me, I think that's just
it's
off
off
the
me
charts, man.
4 or 5 years ago,
dude, I will not have a dead body part.
I 100% would have taken the same exact position as you did. And the only reason I even entertained the idea is because I love my wife. But at the same time, her nightly prayer, I mean, I hate to use the word ritual because it sounds cultish, but Trisha prays.
Yeah.
And she prays in a form.
Yeah, she does.
Right? And so she would get her prayer book out, she would go down in her prayer room, and I could hear her, and it would make me cringe. Right? I just couldn't handle it. And I'm like, and then I started reading, and let myself be a little more open-minded to tradition outside of what I thought was orthodox. And so just same as with the relics and stuff, like the Catholic Church up on 30th Street has some relics, right? And they actually made their way through Mary Magdalene.
See? I already said, you shut down my Catholic statement earlier, man. I'm telling you,
I thought you were talking.
I knew that was a religion that saved those things.
I didn't know that's what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about like dead bodies on a pedestal with flowers around them forever.
No, I'm talking about saving them for like decades and centuries, man.
And like I said, I would go back
if
it was where I misunderstood. Really, I thought we were talking about. Like,
do they come back alive eventually? I mean, I don't know.
Do they what?
I don't know. Never mind. Do they come back alive? I'm thinking like the id with the hand, I don't know.
Well, I guess, what would be interesting is, say, as the resurrection's happening, I've always kind of wondered, like, is everybody just going to come back all at the same time? Is it going to be like...
I would think it would be more like your higher self, like your soul's coming alive, the higher self coming back. I don't know.
That wouldn't be resurrection of the body, though. You know what I mean? So yeah, so what if that...
beyond
listen,
mine,
what
right?
if that relic... What if you're in church and the relic's up front and all of a sudden... You see the hand, and all of a sudden it just does.
I'm screaming, zombie apocalypse, dog, is upon us.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Catholic sport.
I'm doing the shoddy and the baseball bat with the nails, and then you know what I mean.
I think if it was just on the ground, I would, but if it was in a church, I probably wouldn't. I would probably sit and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
See if there's some shifts.
I was cracking jokes, Ryan, man. I don't know. If it was in a church and a dead body comes up, I mean, I'm going to be like, oh, that's kind of awkward. I'm out of here.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dude, like some dead body comes up, like I'm thinking Tales of the Crypt. You know what I mean? Coming up. And
Well, there again, that's
now, if it came up and then the person's flesh all came back to normal and like looked like, I would say Jesus probably did as he was resurrected because they didn't notice him,
Right.
but he would be like his higher self, like I was just saying. It would be like his higher self, you know what I mean, that you're seeing? Then that would be something I would be like, pause for cause, like this is a miraculous sign, this is something real. But if you're coming up just like your dead, decayed body coming up alive and you're like, I would say if you need to keep that dead the corpse nastiness and you're waiting for that to be revived, I'm like, I don't know, man. My God could do something with that and you wouldn't need to keep that body.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my God, man. I don't know. My God does things I don't even understand or even try to entertain or try to even fathom.
A lot of our American tradition plays into it.
Yeah. So if you want to keep a body and that's what you do, man, and that helps you and that
put them in
keeps
a
you
barrel,
on
dump
track.
them in the lake.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
do your
you.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to have my opinion. I think that's weird. But if you like to keep dead bodies and that helps you in your prayer time, and that gets you to where you need to be, and I mean, do your thing, man. I'm gonna stay in my lane.
It's crazy
I can have my opinion.
The intrigue into. I mean, think about all the burial tombs and stuff that people have dug through.
Dude, for real
Over
though.
antiquity all the way.
Well,
through.
yeah, dude. Oh man, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a whole nother story right there. Maybe we can keep this going for a while,
I
right?
don't know. Batteries probably.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
For
only about
real.
50%.
Anyways,
Still
let's
wrong.
close it up, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to
So-
get on that rampant. Sorry, Trish. Love you to death for sure, man.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
What-
But I don't
any
think you
other
keep
way?
it dead bodies, just so you know.
No,
Trish.
just parts of them. Just
Oh.
just parts of it.
Oh.
No matter whatever, at the end of it, you got to seek God
Yeah.
and chase that.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
helping you seek and helping you
Yeah.
continue to move in that force, and that's what you do, man. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
So Wild Week,
Who am I, man? Who am I? I'm nobody.
it's only going to get wilder
Hey, I'm nobody, man.
as the
Tell you
day
that
draws
much.
near.
Yeah.
So coming up on a year
Yeah.
of doing this, I don't know how many podcasts we put out. I quit counting after 5. I don't know, man. It's a lot. It is.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get back on and get to cover our year in review. So
Yeah.
prep it up. Maybe you should go look through some of the stuff we've done. I'm already ahead of the game.
Oh, for sure, man. I bet you are. Anyways,
I
get out
don't
here,
have way
Wigan.
too much free time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love you guys. Keeler, I love you, bub.
Oh, yeah, love you, Ryan.
It's good to see you.
One love.
We'll
Shalom.
see you guys soon.